Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify, Apple, or Google, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It supports the podcast and it doesn't cost you anything. This content is brought to you by Uphold, which is a great platform that I've been using since 2017. They're one of my go-to exchanges. You can buy, sell, trade crypto. They have 10 plus million users, 250 plus cryptocurrencies, and they're available in 150 countries. Right now, they're running a great promo. If you spend $600, you can get $50 in Bitcoin for free. If you'd like to learn more about Uphold, please visit the link in the description. All right, my friends, I want to share some interesting statistics around Bitcoin showing the bullish momentum that we have right now. And I'm not saying we're going to pump to new all-time highs or tomorrow or next week we're going to see $50,000 or something like that, but rather we are seeing an upward trend into a bullish momentum similar to what we saw in 2019. And, we're waiting for Bitcoin's retracement. So Will Clement shared the following chart, and he said, after months of waiting, we have finally gotten a bullish crossover of short-term holder cost basis above long-term holder cost basis. Historically, this has marked confirmation of the start of a multi-year Bitcoin bull run. So looking good here, different metrics definitely alluding to bullish momentum. Once again, not full-on bull run or bull market. I think that starts after the Bitcoin halving, but I think we're seeing a bullish rally here, similar to what we saw in 2019. Even Plan B provided a interesting chart here showing Bitcoin's momentum, and it uses kind of a heat graph showing different colors and showing right now we're entering into a period where the market value and the realized value are moving up. So he says Bitcoin momentum is real, no bull trap. So I think we're seeing some nice momentum here, guys. And if we look at Bitcoin on the monthly chart, looking bullish. So you see some really strong green candles here, similar to, once again, to what we saw in 2019. And we have to be patient as this makes its way up. We could see something, maybe some highs, not new all-time highs, but at least the peak of this rally by June or so. So we'll have to be patient and then see what the altcoins do as well. Now, let's jump into some news. The U.S. government dumps Bitcoin stolen from Silk Road, about $1.2 billion to go. The U.S. government has been busy selling Silk Road's Bitcoin, but it still has loads more to liquidate over the course of the year. Now, some people are kind of panicking about this, but they've actually already started selling. They've been selling before this news came out, and they're planning to sell throughout the year. But it's just interesting that they are selling this Bitcoin, right? So the U.S. government sold off more than 9,800 Bitcoin connected to the Silk Road darknet marketplace for about $215 million earlier this month, a court filing release Friday shows. So that's actually bullish, guys, because it happened earlier this month and Bitcoin still pumped, right? Now, to be fair, they may not be selling this on the open market. This could be sold via OTC, over the counter, right? Maybe they just sell it to the highest bidder. It's not done through an exchange, so the sell volume is not there, and that those details we don't actually know. So James Zhang pleaded guilty to hacking Silk Road in 2012 and stealing more than 50,000 Bitcoin, worth less than $1 million at the time, which the government seized in November 2022. Here's a quote. In total, from the Zhang investigation, the government has obtained final orders for forfeiture for approximately 51,680.2 Bitcoin, valued at more than $3.4 billion at the time of seizure, the court filing noted. On March 14th, the government sold about 9,861.2 Bitcoin for around $21,800 per token. On this date, Bitcoin was trading on most exchanges at a high of around $26,500 and a low of around $24,000, according to Blockwork Research. So government officials racked up more than $215,000 in transaction fees for the sale, court documents note. Officials added that the plan to sell the remaining 41,500 Bitcoin, which is valued at $1.2 billion in a series of 4 batches this year. The method of sale wasn't disclosed. So once again, this doesn't mean they were selling on the open market, right? Like let's say through Coinbase, which would drive the price down. It could be OTC. And many of you may recall the site called Local Bitcoins, where you can meet up with people via, hey, I'm looking to sell 12 Bitcoin. I need you to bring the cash, or I need you to write a check or whatever it is. And then I send you the Bitcoin. That is not recorded on, any type of sell or buy order on an exchange. So interesting that the government's doing this. And I'm very curious who they're selling it to, because in the past, I know that guys like Tim Draper have bought Bitcoin, through an auction from the government and so forth. So I would love to know who is buying, guys, but very interesting. Now, here's some, in addition, very interesting news as well. Didn't see this one coming. So Pentagon, here's the headline: Pentagon, mine Bitcoin to stay superpower, Space Force major. World superpowers should duke it out with hash rate over artillery in a digital Cold War for Bitcoin blocks, says one Space Force major. Now, if you've been a subscriber to this podcast over the years, I've talked about this. The macro geopolitical battle for the control of crypto. And I think right now, the US is losing a bit, even though the major theme is that a lot of these traditional financial players are still bullish on crypto. We're going to talk about Citibank today, and Bitcoin mining is happening in the United States right now. Actually, America and the North Americas, I should say, lead the world in Bitcoin control of the hash rate. So it's just interesting things happening. And this makes sense. So a new MIT master's thesis from a U.S. Space Force major contends Bitcoin is not just a form of internet money, but a weapon to be utilized by the Pentagon in modern warfare. In an exhaustive 400-page dissertation, Major Jason Lowery claims Bitcoin's proof-of-work consensus mechanism presents a massive shift in the way the world powers could wage war. Instead of boots on the ground or nukes in the air, Lowery suggests nations battle by competing for Bitcoin block rewards, Politico reported Thursday. Space Force is the newest brand of the U.S. Army or U.S. Armed Forces, created in December 2019. It's responsible for organizing, training, and equipping military persons across the stars in a bid to protect U.S. and allied interests. Lowery is an active duty U.S. Space Force astronautical engineer and U.S. National Defense Fellow at MIT, whose job it is to advise senior military personnel on the implications of Bitcoin, according to a bio of his latest book. Politico says it confirmed his rank with an Air Force spokesperson. So this is very interesting. I mean, I think it absolutely makes sense, and not just Bitcoin, but I think crypto as a whole. Unfortunately, you have clowns like Elizabeth Warren and Janet Yellen and Gary Gensler and some others who are anti-crypto, but we know what their game plan is, and that is to slow it down so the incumbents can take control. But, we actually had some bad news today, and I'll share the news a bit later that, Bittrex, they're planning to close shop in the United States and expand overseas. Now, here's an interesting government news item as well. Fresh OCC Fintech office tasked with keeping up with crypto. The OCC, which has been floated as the potential stablecoin regulator, now has an office for studying crypto developments. Of course they do, because this tech is here to stay. This asset class is global. It's growing in adoption. And despite the phase we're in right now, which is then they fight you, it's here to stay. They can't stop it. And all these government agencies now have to form divisions and task force to learn and to keep up with this. Now, the OCC, it's very critical. Remember, Brian Brooks was there, and we're going to talk a bit about him a bit later. He was the one who greenlighted the banks to be able to custody crypto. And we see folks are trying to revert or reverse his rulings from that time. So we're in a battle here, folks, but interesting to see the government is, of course, getting more involved with crypto as they have to. Now, we continue to see some very bullish Hedera and HBAR news, guys. check this one out. Today, Hedera tweeted out, today at the President of the United States Summit for Democracy, Hedera has made a commitment to convene a democracy roundtable on how blockchain technologies can and are supporting human rights, transparency, and sustainability through DLT-enabled applications. This is very interesting, guys. Hedera will invite companies, trade associations, advocacy groups, academics, and government officials share a summary of the discussion and make recommendations for the next steps towards improving accountability, fighting misinformation, and reducing data manipulation with DLT. They said here, finally, governed by world-leading institutions distributed across 6 continents, representing multiple industries, Hedera aims to become an integral layer of the emerging Web3 world built on a decentralized foundation that is fast, sustainable, and secured. Guys, I am very bullish on Hedera and HBAR. I hold it in my portfolio. I have for a while. I continue to buy the dips where I can. And, I think it's going to be one of those projects and networks that are going to do really well in the future. Now, I could be wrong. I am just sharing my decisions and my thoughts and the adoption. And you look at the names that are part of the governing council, Google, IBM, Boeing, and so forth. Those are real world companies, folks, who are looking to not only partner and be in the governing council, but to, of course, build on Hedera. So do your own research, but this is pretty big. And the fact that they're collaborating with the government here, I think that's a very, very smart move. And here, Brian Brooks, who's actually now on the board of Hedera, he retweeted this news and he said, great work by Hedera and possibly something that will improve the administration's perception of crypto utility in the public sphere. Great point. So the more these crypto companies can present real world application and utility and show, hey, this is not just about speculation. There's utility here. This is Web3. We are moving from Web2 to Web3, and this is the next layer on top of the internet. So there was also a big news from the HBAR Foundation. They said, we're excited to announce the launch of the Hedera Education Program, Beyond Blockchain, Hashgraph to bridge Web2 developers into Web3 with Tribe. Tribe here looks like on their description, they said, builder of bridges, Web2 and Web3, join the tribe and let's drive the frontier tech ecosystem forward together. So they said the global blockchain ecosystem builder that connects startups and tech talents with leading opportunities. Yesterday, we talked about MasterCard and partnering with another firm who's going to build on the Hedera blockchain. So we're seeing adoption here, guys. This is what you want to see when you're investing in projects. Are companies partnering and building on said blockchains? So that is how I look at it. I'm looking for utility and adoption, guys. Now, guys, we've been talking about the thesis of Gary Gensler and all the anti-crypto people, Elizabeth Warren. They are the puppets for a lot of the traditional finance folks who are, of course, lobbying them to slow crypto down. They can't kill crypto. They're not banning crypto, but to slow it down so the incumbents can take over. And here's an example. Killer use case. Citi, talking about Citibank, says trillions in assets could be tokenized by 2030. The bank predicts the private equity market to become the most tokenized asset class because it has more liquid and can be fractionalized. So we're seeing BlackRock, Bank of America, and all these different folks talk about tokenization and crypto. And remember, what are they tokenizing on? The blockchains that are out there, right? They're tokenizing on the different ones. And I've talked about it many times, MEC house law, network adoption. The more building, whether it be tokenization, NFTs, and so forth, the more valuable the blockchain becomes, the more valuable the native token of that blockchain becomes. So investment bank Citi is betting on the blockchain-based tokenization of real-world assets to become the next killer use case in crypto, with the firm forecasting the market to reach between $4 trillion to $5 trillion by 2030. That would mark an 80-fold increase in the current value of real-world assets locked on blockchain, Citi explained in its Money, Tokens, and Games March report. So folks, they're studying this, they're building, they're putting out reports. Here's what the report looks like. The subheadline is blockchain's next billion users and trillions in value. So this is why you also have to have a long-term view on this crypto asset class. Things are still being set up, and these incumbents and these traditional finance players are still setting up shop, right? So here's a quote. We forecast $4 trillion to $5 trillion of tokenized digital securities and $1 trillion of distributed ledger technology-based trade finance volumes by 2030, the firm's analyst said. Of the up to $5 trillion tokenized, the bank estimates 1.3 or $1.9 trillion will come in the form of debt, $1.5 trillion from real estate, $0.7 trillion from private equity and venture capital, and between $0.5 to $1 trillion from securities. Folks, they're not talking about millions or billions. They're talking about trillions. So huge things are coming to crypto and blockchain. Real world adoption, tokenization of real estate and different commodities and securities and assets. And we're at the tip of the iceberg right now. We're not even halfway there, right? We're just at a start, and these banks and these big players want to do it. And we've seen BlackRock CEO Larry Fink talk a lot about this, so they know what's on the horizon, right? Recently, Bank of America, they put out a report about how California is tokenizing vehicle titles on the Tezos blockchain. Told you guys I hold some Tezos, not a lot, and it's a proof of stake token, so I earn passive rewards by staking it. So we are seeing their plans being revealed here and what they intend to do. And those assets that they hold, they're going to tokenize it. And guys, the token economy that I've been talking about for so long, it's coming. Be patient, it's coming. And like I said, the blockchains that it's going to be adopted, they're going to have the value, and their tokens are, of course, going to have high value. Here we got some Cardano news. So Cardano users can soon access Ethereum dApps directly from their ADA wallets. The move will be enabled after a new feature on Milko Media and Ethereum Virtual Machine Network goes live. So some interoperability here between Ethereum and Cardano. So let me give you some details. Those who use the Cardano blockchain will soon be able to gain access to Ethereum Virtual Machine smart contracts with any Cardano wallet, expanding Cardano's usefulness. That is thanks to an upcoming feature on Milko Media, a network that connects blockchains such as Cardano and Algorand to EVM contracts. Milko Media, Cardano's EVM layer, is launching a feature allowing every Cardano user to use EVM contracts directly from any Cardano wallet, Sebastian Guillemot, CEO of Milko Media, said late Thursday. So this is great, guys. I love to see this, different blockchains working together with each other, because interoperability will be key in the future, because there are going to be so many chains. You're going to have private and public and different chains used for different industries and across the world. So you got to have interoperability, and these roadways, these pathways and infrastructure items are still being built, but this is the future, folks. Now, in news I referenced earlier, and that is the fight we're in, folks. Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren are at the center of the anti-American agenda to stifle crypto, roadblock it. And here, Bittrex, which is an exchange which existed, I would say, for 5-6 years, they're closing their U.S. doors permanently. And of course, they're saying, hey, it doesn't affect our international business, Bittrex Global. So their CEO actually put out a letter, and he said, yeah, due to regulatory uncertainty, we're making a difficult decision to cease their operations here in the United States as of April 30th, 2023. So I used Bittrex back in the day. I think it was 2018 and so forth. I remember using them. I don't obviously use them to this day, but they've been around for a while. They're not one of the largest. They're, on the smaller side, but still, it sucks. So that means less competition in the market, which I've often talked about. Competition is healthy. It helps, businesses to not charge high fees, because they have to stay competitive and they have to offer a great service. But if you reduce the amount of competitors in a given market, allows the 1, the 2, the 3 to really take advantage of consumers, and that's not good. But this is the plan, as we've been talking about, Operation Choke Point, and you know, slow crypto down and let the Fidelities and the BlackRocks and the Nasdaqs come in and set up shop, guys. Here, Stuart Alderati weighed in. Ripple Stuart Alderati, he weighed in on Senator Elizabeth Warren's, anti-crypto campaign. He said, before other politicians join Senator Warren's anti-crypto army, remember her 2020 campaign for the Democratic presidential nomination failed so miserably she dropped out after being declared unelectable. Yeah, the problem is though, man, is we know her pockets are being lined, and that's the reason why she's picking this up as a slogan for her campaign. There's who knows, right? The Charlie Mungers and the Warren Buffetts who hate Bitcoin and crypto, and other people and the old school TradFi guys are probably filling her pockets with a lot of cash. You can only imagine, right? That she's not just waking up saying, "Oh, I hate crypto" and blah blah blah. No, she's a puppet, and she's being paid heavily for that. Now, another quick item here on tokenization, because it includes JP Morgan's Quorum and Ethereum. Major energy companies are trading tokenized emissions credits. Natural gas outfit Pure West is trading tokenized emissions credits with major methanol producer ProMan, a long-regarded blockchain use case. So, guys, just once again, token economy, right? Let me give you just a quick note here. The tokens are transacted and stored on Earn DLT's private blockchain, which was built using enterprise blockchain platform Quorum. JP Morgan forked Ethereum to create Quorum in 2016 before selling it to blockchain software firm Consensus 4 years later. So, see what's going on here, folks? Do I even need to say more? Right? These big banks and players know what's going on. And yes, some of them are going to use their private blockchains and so forth. But remember that the majority of transactions on the open market will be on public blockchains. Yes, some parts of it may be a bit private to protect certain data, but they can't privatize everything because the market has to be open and for end users to see what's happening and verify certain things. So just keep in mind, guys, we're in the then they fight you phase, but then we win, right? We know what's on the horizon, but it's going to be a bit painful during this period. That's why I've been saying and reminding some of you, this rally that's happening, if you're so inclined and it's your decision, don't forget to take profits. I will be taking profits because I don't know what the hell is happening for the remainder of the year, even next year, right? With these crypto banking cutoffs and so forth. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm, just protecting myself by taking some cash off the table. So that's just what I'm doing. I'm not telling you what to do. You make your own decision, but I'm just sharing my thoughts and my plans. All right, guys, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you all later.